Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LEGO Production Central. This is the room where I do most of my LEGO stop motions, and I've brought you here for my very first LEGO set build and review. I've never done this before, and this one is going to be very special. It is the LEGO Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween Town set. Obviously, as a stop-motion animator, this film has been a huge influence on me, and it's with no surprise that I've had my eye on this for a while. And actually, I remember when this was first proposed back in, 2020? I was still in high school back then, and I saw some prototypes being kicked around the internet. It's been on the LEGO Ideas short list for a few years now, but it wasn't until this year that they finally decided, okay, we'll do it. Now, let's get to building. Obviously this is gonna be too long for just a simple time lapse, so I'm just gonna leave this as a montage. Well, there it is. It's all fully built, and now it's time to review. So I'd like to start with the minifigures here. So obviously first we start off with Jack and Sally here. Now this actually isn't the first time they've done Jack and Sally in LEGO form. Back in 2019, they released Jack and Sally minifigures as part of the LEGO Disney minifigure series, where you got a random bag with a character and an item, and they did this as part of a series. So yeah, Jack and Sally were released as part of the second line of Disney-themed minifigures. There are a few differences, chief among which is Jack's arms and legs. In this one, they are retextured arms and legs originally belonging to Woody from LEGO Toy Story. In order to portray the character's ragdoll-like form, in which his arms and legs are disproportionately long and thin in relation with the rest of his body, they made his arms and legs longer than a normal minifigure's, and here they've done the same thing with Jack to portray the character's spindly, spider-like figure. And then of course we have the figures for Lock, Shock, and Barrel, which I thought was really good. I really like what they did with them, and I like the facial expressions that they did with their double-sided heads. And of course they have their walking tub that they travel around in. And then there's Santa Claus, who comes with candy all over his shirt, which is the exact state that he's in when he first arrives in Halloween Town. And then they have Zero here, who they gave him his very own mold, which I thought was really good. I remember the original prototype version of this came with a minifigure for Dr. Finkelstein, but obviously that never materialized. What I'm most interested in was the mayor, what they did with the mayor of Halloween Town. He was obviously going to be a very difficult character for them to portray, you know, because of his cone-like figures. So how do you accurately showcase that while also keeping him a posable minifigure with arms and legs and stuff? And I thought they did that really well. They did the little bits for the arms and legs and the really tall hat. Oh, and of course the double-sided head. The only criticism that I think a lot of people would have with this is the fact that they ended up having to sacrifice the character's movie-accurate height. Because in the movie, he was a short character. It's only because of his hat that he's actually tall. But with this, however, they made him look. So without the hat, he is as tall as Jack Skellington. But, you know, I guess they did the best that they could with the character. You know, they probably had to make some sacrifices, but overall, they did a very good job with the character. Alright, next up, of course, we have the set itself, the Spiral Hill, which comes with its own little round yellow disc to portray the moon. So you have the Spiral Hill, and down below you have all the gravestones and Zero's doghouse as well. And all the gravestones, of course, are designed after the ones that we see in the movie. Like this one over here is the one that Sally hides behind when Jack arrives in the graveyard. And then, of course, there's also the graves marked for Witch Hazel and Deadly Nightshade, though they are spaced around the graveyard. In the movie, I believe they are placed very closely together. But I guess I shouldn't complain and just be happy that they're there as a sort of Easter egg. The Spiral Hill. I remember actually when this was first proposed back in 2020, I think. And I remember looking at the pictures of the Spiral Hill and I thought, this leaves a lot to be desired. And I actually made my own prototype based on the Spiral Hill right here. So I used all these jointed hinged pieces to portray the hill, and a lot of which, of course, you may recognize as the pieces that I used for the tentacles in my Kraken stop-motion video. The big takeaway that I wanted to do is that I could make it uncurl, so I could possibly recreate the scene where Jack is walking down the hill and it uncurls until he gets to the other side. But overall, of course, they did very well. They did a very good job in portraying the spiral. It's not functional, it can't uncurl like mine, but overall they did a really good job. And being honest, their version is probably more stable than mine. I'm sure that's definite. Alright, next up we go to Jack's house. Obviously, the only room that we actually see in Jack's house is the inside of the tower. But obviously, of course, to actually make the tower with all the stuff inside it, obviously, to do that and make the rest of the house to scale, well, it's pretty obvious that would be too large for them to build. And so, just like they did with the bridge on the Malevolence from the LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars series, they instead made the tower completely solid and put all the room portrayed in there inside the actual house. And they did a really good job with it as well. And so I like that they put in the blackboard with Jack's proposed equation for Christmas and the little drawing of him as Santa Claus. The only thing that I probably would want to have improved upon is this bit right here. I think I remember the top bit of Jack's house sort of curling outwards, but I guess that would have been very difficult to portray in LEGO, that sort of German expressionist look in its entirety. And also I feel that the column leading up to the tower is a bit too bulky, but this is just my opinion. And then of course we have the town hall over here, which I thought they did a really good job with. This really solid in creating the shape of it. And of course there's the gargoyle dragon thing that spews out green goo into the fountain at the front. And you know, I really like what they did with that. That was really good. The town hall obviously is a little small, obviously, so I can't imagine them having a town meeting in there. But you know, such is the way with Legos. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without the clock and the display telling you how many days are left for Halloween or Christmas or whatever. And also throughout the set in Jack's house and in the attic and the cellar of the town hall, they also have a lot of Christmas presents and wreaths and stocking, so you can have Halloween Town as it is, or you can decorate it for Christmas as well. But for me, the big takeaway is the fact that this means I could do some Lego stop-motion Nightmare Before Christmas fan animations. As a stop-motion animator, this would be like one of my two biggest dreams. One would be a giant monster stop-motion animation, and I've already done a lot of those. And the other one, of course, is a Nightmare Before Christmas themed animation. I think I'm definitely going to do one of those in the future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this build and my review, and make sure to leave down in the comment section below your thoughts on this, and I'll see you later. Take care.